Hi, my name is Avery. Today we're going to be talking about Better Call Saul. It recently ended on this podcast known as Zach's Basement.
I'm Jimmy. How's it going, Avery?
It's going great. Better Call Saul, as we all know, is a spin-off prequel to Breaking Bad.
Yep.
Uh,
Made
like I
by
said,
Vince Gilligan.
Yeah, Vince Gilligan,
and
Peter Gold.
I didn't know Peter Gold was as involved as he was this time
Yeah,
around.
well, he's like the main showrunner.
Yeah,
for
I didn't
Better
even
Call
fucking
Saul.
know that, yeah.
But he was also working with Breaking Bad.
Well, yeah, but, I thought Vince Gilligan was more the creator of both parts, and I didn't think Peter Gold was more involved in it than he was, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Wow.
So.
But yeah, anyway, like I said, it recently ended, as in the last episode aired last night by the time we're recording this. So, but, yeah. Whoa. It's not ready for that.
Is that Mr. Odenkirk's ass we're looking at?
You got you got a tattoo.
There's no way he got an ass tattoo.
You didn't know he got an ass tattoo?
Is that actually real?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I think that's for when season 4 aired.
Oh my god.
Season 5. Yeah, season 4. Yeah, I think so.
That's on his left ass cheek right there.
That's slightly above his left ass cheek.
Real.
Of course that's
my
real.
God.
We're not fucking around.
No shot.
No,
Fuck.
they shot it, and
I
it's
hate
there.
I fucking hate it.
Anyway,
I didn't
so
know.
I want to try to structure this so we have a good structure here, so we know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna start with like the beginning of the show, the seasons. So like season 1, 2, 3, all the way up to the final season, season 6. How did you feel about like season 1? Would you say in terms of like how it felt in the actual progression of the story? It's only 10 episodes, but
Yeah. Well, let me start off by saying the cold opening. That's been one of the more unique cold openings
Yeah.
I've ever seen, where it just starts black and white, and you pretty much get thrown off for like a loop of sorts, because I'm looking at that and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah, no,
Well, he just
100%.
doesn't it just start off at the Cinnabon and he just
So he's
them-
working at a Cinnabon. Somebody's working at a Cinnabon. We don't even know who it is at first. Someone's working at a Cinnabon. It's black and white. And you're like, what is this? And then the person like lifts his head up, and he's got a mustache. He's got a Cinnabon hat, but you could clearly tell it's Saul.
Mhm.
But you're like, wait, what?
Why does
What
he
is
look
this?
different?
Because you're like, you probably might going in thinking it's a prequel, and you're like,
Mhm.
wait, so he started out working at Cinnabon? What?
Yeah.
But then it may hit you if you guys remember. And I think it was like the second to last episode of Breaking Bad, or third last episode, one of the last episodes of Breaking Bad. The last appearance of Saul Goodman in that show, I guess. He tells Walter White, like, best case scenario, I'm working at a Cinnabon in Omaha. And that's exactly what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they just took that joke that they kind of wrote and just made it reality, which is great. And it's a good callback to the fans that do pay attention between both shows.
What if he said that and it's actually true? Like his best option was working at a Cinnabon in Omaha.
Maybe
but
that's
all
kind of what it was.
Yeah, and all the other ones were just so shit that he's like, my best option is this horse shit.
And
that
he
I have
just
to do.
because he happens to know that.
Yeah,
I guess that can make sense. Yeah, but but season 1. So that's how the series opens up. It's cold open, black and white. Then we have the awesome theme. It's like do 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 do, right?
Yeah.
That's not funny.
Yeah,
Why did you laugh?
Somewhat right on that one. Yeah. That's not a good
Anyway.
interpretation of the theme, I would say.
Really? Can you do better?
No.
Right now, do it.
I cannot do it.
Do it.
I'm not doing the theme.
Do it now.
Better Call Saul. Sorry.
No, the
But yeah,
theme.
I'm not doing the theme of the fucking.
If you don't think, that's it. We're getting off topic.
Okay.
Anyway, we're back on this.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. Fucked up cinnamon roll.
Hey,
That looks like E.T.
That
Did we
is
just
E.T.
say that at the
Yes.
same time?
That is fucking E.T.
That is E.T. though.
Straight up.
Phone hum?
Hey, yo.
E.T. moaning.
Anyway, okay.
Okay, we're getting off
Season
topic.
1. Season one.
Yeah.
We're getting distracted by the
Cold opening.
by the
He gets
people.
home, right? Gene Takovic.
He gets home exactly. So he has like a little rinky-dink apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and
Townhouse?
he's following. I think he's following a police scanner, or that happens later. I can't remember.
Whatever it is. Go ahead.
He gets a VHS tape out, and he's
Mhm.
putting it in, and we never actually see what it is, but we can see in the reflection of his glasses in color, and everything, that he's watching his old commercials.
Mm-hmm.
As Saul Goodman. And it tells us, even if you don't remember in the context, that this is after. And he looks depressed and sad about it. He kind of almost misses that kind of life. And it reminds us that this is set after Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So.
And then it happens to be a flashback, I want to say. It goes back to him being.
I believe it's 6 years before the events of the first season of Breaking Bad is
Yeah.
like when we open up, and he's defending 2 or 3 kids who broke into a morgue,
Yeah.
caught off a guy's head, and had sex with it.
Oh,
And he had to
that's
defend
right.
those 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool because we see him as Jimmy McGill, which kind of threw up a lot of people off because they're like, wait, he's Saul.
Mm-hmm.
But if you remember in Breaking Bad, he does tell Walter, my real name's McGill. And it's like, oh, he hasn't even become Saul yet,
No.
even though the show's called Better Call Saul. So, and that's kind of season 1. And we find out, oh, he has a brother named Chuck that we never heard about, never knew about. We have,
he works at a law firm called
We-
Hamlin McGill.
Yeah, we're like, McGill, that's his name.
That's his name.
But we find out that's his, that's referring to his brother.
Yep.
And
And
Chuck's very interesting.
yes.
Chuck's obviously being his brother. Chuck has some sort of mental condition that we see that he can't have the lights on.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna melt! Ah! Right?
Yeah.
But
He would not like the production that's going on.
oh yeah, look
He
at
would
these
have
bright
an
ass
aneurysm
lights
already. But yes.
You go.
Okay,
That's a spoiler.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll
if
get
we
to
have
that.
a chance. Yes.
That's
But
a funny moment.
yes, season 1, we get introduced to a couple new characters, being Howard Hamlin, who is
Howard Hamlin,
Patrick
who's the Patrick Fabian, the actor.
Yep.
He's the second H in HHM. His first H is his father.
Father,
We meet Jimmy. Apparently has a girlfriend, Kim.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
At the time, I was
Not
more quotation.
Kim
mark
Wexler.
Yeah, but like,
Holy
Okay.
shit! Holy.
all right. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. But
All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
But he has a
I wouldn't mind
girlfriend,
using it.
booty call, whatever. I would say more booty call than girlfriend
Yeah.
at the time for
No.
Kim Wexler.
Yeah, Kim. Anyway, Kim Wexler,
Yeah,
right?
in
She works
season
there.
1.
It's his girlfriend. They're sharing a cigarette. It's a great way to show that
They're friends.
they're
At the-
girlfriends,
At the
boyfriend,
least.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're boyfriend, girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, but one thing we also see is we see Mike. Oh my God, I can't look at this.
What is happening here? What is?
So Mike. Oh my God. Anyway,
why does she
we see Mike Ehrmantraut,
Why the fuck
which
did
is,
she have a toe
as we
ring?
know,
Yeah.
is played by Jonathan Banks.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also in. He was in Breaking Bad. Holy shit. He was in Breaking Bad, but he works as the parking meter booth guy for the law
Stickers!
firm. Stickers. That was a running joke in season
Yep.
1, like that.
Um.
But yeah, like he finds out he gets money for Chuck, but he doesn't want it. Like he rips it up, and he's just trying to find money. What the hell was that?
It's,
Oh hell yeah!
we're getting thrown stickers.
So
Stickers!
stickers.
Right. But yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
stickers. Okay,
yeah.
so we see very different Mike, too, in terms of like, this is obviously before he worked with Gus and everything.
Mhm.
But I love how Mike was also there in the beginning as well. I love that.
Yeah.
But as we continue on in the first episode, again, we're not gonna go over every episode, obviously, but
Well, would you say Mike was one of the first characters to be introduced, from Breaking Bad?
no, Jimmy McGill was.
I know it's fucking Jimmy. It's called Better Call Saul. for a
Yes, of
reason,
course,
but I
Mike.
mean,
Yeah.
So
But
you know,
anyway-
you knew right off the bat that he was gonna have a bigger part.
Jimmy keeps changing, and we figure out that he was this when he was younger in Cicero, Illinois, where he's from. He went by this, moniker name of Slippin' Jimmy.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah. So it's a series about how he refuses to change.
Yes.
It's the whole series.
It's the whole
essentially.
narrative of the series.
But yeah, as we keep going on, we see how he gets sucked more into more shenanigans and craziness, and
Mhm.
involving his brother Chuck and everything.
Well, the
and-
first episode's cliffhanger is fucking Tuco goddamn Salamanca too. So like
It also introduces us to him because he's only been in 4 episodes. In
Yeah,
Breaking Bad,
exactly.
but he was there and he was so memorable, and it throws us into like even the early stages of the cartel business.
Yes, exactly.
Tuco was the beginning in
Mhm.
for Breaking Bad. He's also the same for Better Call Saul. It's a great. I think it's the actor Raymond Cruz. I think.
You're,
I think that's
you're
his
asking
name.
the wrong guy for that. But yeah, I'll believe it. Raymond Cruz. So
I think that's his
I,
name.
yeah.
Anyway, the actor that plays Tuco. He's great. But
Yeah, that's the whole like first arc I would say of season 1 of
We
like
find out
trying to beat
that it
Tuco.
seems like Howard Hamlin is really the main villain in season 1, where
Yeah.
he's not giving Jimmy what he wants. He figures out there's this big scam with some Sandpiper case with the Sandpiper assisted living, and then we find out that like he brings it up with the help of his brother Chuck, and it doesn't want. Yeah, I love that. Oh wow, if sex had a gender, I don't like this. I don't like where this is going.
If sex and gender were the same thing,
And I'm gonna gender
gender
traffic.
traffic. Then I'm a gender trafficker. Loved it.
That's
Yeah,
a good meme.
that's a great meme.
One of my favorite memes is when he says, "Well, it's a meme where he goes, you're telling me that manslaughter. My client here's committed manslaughter when he murdered a woman.
That's true.
Your Honor."
Your Honor.
I like that.
Okay.
It's a good meme. Anyway, but we find out, the main villain is Howard.
Mm-hmm.
But then, double cross, we find out the main villain was Chuck. His own brother turned against him, who never wanted to become a lawyer, and took the Sandpiper case from him, even though Jimmy was the one who found it out. And we actually found out that Howard actually loves Jimmy. But because Howard was looking after Chuck or whatever, Chuck,
He's his business partner,
Yeah.
much in the attorney business. So Howard was really the one that pretty
Because-
much followed everything Chuck said. It's like, you do this. Howard's
Yeah.
like, okay, I guess I have to.
As we enter
So-
season 2, Jimmy tries to retaliate by switching the address for, was it a bank, I think?
Yes, it was a bank that Kim Wexler's
Mesa Verde.
Mesa
That's
Verde
right.
was
That
trying to-
Kim was trying to work on, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he switched the numbers for Chuck's sake. And he manipulated Chuck in terms of making him,
Mentally.
becoming more crazy in terms of
Yeah.
towards Jimmy. A lot of people want to point out the metaphor that is like Chuck's mental condition is, it's like real in the context of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual metaphor being the electricity is just really just Jimmy. It's just, that's what it is. And he can't handle it. And that's a whole plot point majorly in season 2. And as that's going on, Mike is getting deeper into some more criminal business.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually he meets the Salamancas involving Tuco and Hector.
Mm-hmm.
And even Nacho too, we find out who's part of this. But we start to see that he has a dad that doesn't want him doing this, and he kind of wants to get out. And the series just keeps getting better and better and better. But yeah, so Jimmy swaps numbers on an address for Chuck, and Chuck believes that he can never be wrong. So the switch numbers is the real numbers. But then he finds out that Jimmy was the one behind it all. He tries to go to a copy shop at night, a copier store, and there's so many neon lights and lights are on and everything, and he's allergic to that. So he bangs his head and passes out.
Yep.
Almost killing Chuck, but he finds out the whole thing. He never really finds out it's Jimmy. So then Chuck retaliates by playing up his, big thing.
Going AWOL with his
big
disease.
condition.
Yep.
Just to record him confessing to the felony that he did swap those numbers.
Yeah.
And that's the end of season 2, essentially. As we enter season 3, Jimmy freaks out about it, but there's a big trial with it. Kim's on Jimmy's side, even though Kim knows, which is also interesting. Kim knows that Jimmy is guilty in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck, is going to go up against himself, essentially, with some help with Howard. But Jimmy plays the whole thing in one of the greatest episodes in season 3 titled Chicanery.
Yep.
Where he plants a fully charged phone battery in his pocket with the help of Huel, if you remember from Breaking Bad, the guy, the pickpocketer. Huel Babineau.
Yep.
And basically exposes that Chuck does, in fact, hate Jimmy to the entire court.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great monologue, great speech by Michael McCain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we said,
as I've heard recited from you many of times.
Yeah, I've
throughout
multiple times,
watching.
word for word. I love
Yep.
it. It's such a great speech. It's a great episode of TV. But that happens. Mike figures out that Gus Fring is behind the whole thing and starts working with him slowly and slowly and slowly. Nacho has a plan to put Hector, to essentially kill Hector by putting sugar pills
instead of the actual pills
that he has to take.
Yeah.
And he's successful, but Gus, as we all know, needs Hector alive because he hates Hector so much that he wants to slowly die. wants him to slow down. I think one of the lines and quotes from Gus is, "A bullet to the head would be far too humane," which is great quote.
Yep.
But yeah,
And
Gus saves Hector at the end of season 3, and we actually find out the origin of why Hector's in that wheelchair in Breaking Bad. It's all Nacho's fault. But Gus is also smart to realize that, and Nacho's in some deep shit now.
Yeah, he got deeper and deeper in. He was
Deeper
trying
and
to get the
deeper
fuck
and
out,
deeper
but
in.
he just deeper and deeper in.
And as for the whole Jimmy and Chuck scenario, it gets so off the rails from that he tries to get better, but it just makes it ultimately worse. And Jimmy manipulated his malpractice insurance.
Yep.
That Chuck ends up committing suicide at the end of season 3.
Great episode. Great episode.
If you couldn't tell,
If you couldn't tell for right now, I've been holding this opinion because he was trying to explain the whole summary of it all. But I fucking hate Chuck. Let me
There's
just
a lot
take
to
a
hate
moment to
about
point
Chuck.
out that suicide is never the option.
It is the option if you're Chuck fucking McGill. Let me tell you that right now. I did not like Chuck. Yes, in season 1 he was the big brother to Jimmy McGill. Yes, he was everything like that until it was revealed that he never wanted him to be a fucking lawyer and everything like that. There's one thing to say to your brother that I don't want you to be a lawyer. There's another thing to make it so he's never a lawyer ever again. Just get him disbarred from the bar. That's
the thing
just
that's so
fucked.
interesting about Chuck, though, is that, well, he's right. Like, everything
Yes.
that he says, I understand where he's coming from, and he's more on the side of truth in that regard.
He puts law above his brother, though.
But that's where, exactly.
Yeah. I didn't like
Understandably so to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not good, and we perfectly see how what turns Jimmy into Saul. He's one of the major things.
Yeah, he is one of
Because
the major things.
McGill's name is everywhere, that he thinks of just changing his name just for that reason. But of course, his whole like big showy kind of personality is also like, I gotta make my own name. I gotta make my own thing.
Doesn't he do that at the end of season 3 too, where he changes his name, or is that?
No,
4?
that's season 4.
4,
We'll
yeah.
get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Chuck dies, and it's that
Well, that's
answers
right.
why
It's
he's
a
not in
lantern.
Breaking Bad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A personal favorite episode of mine. With
Season
the
4, Gus Nacho now kind of works as a double agent, trying to serve like he's under Gus's control, but he has to pretend like he's still under Salamanca's control. Those are two people.
You
groups
do not
don't
want to
wanna be
get
between.
behind. Yeah.
And Nacho at the same time, he's just trying to get out. He's just, I got to get out of this cartel business. I went in too deep or whatever.
And
it's getting crazier for Nacho.
that's the thing. At least in Nacho's point of view, he has more power when it comes to the Salamanca crime business. Because now that there's a void of Hector Salamanca being gone and in the hospital recovering, Nacho takes up the ranks of Hector and runs his business.
Which he doesn't even want to do.
What doesn't want to do, but he has to, so he runs the business. And he's learned from Hector to not let someone, what do you call it? Like, show them who's the boss, pretty much. To make them know who's the boss, make them know what happens if you don't do what they tell you to do or ask you or need you to do.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And season 4, he just gets in deeper and deeper. And on Jimmy's side, he's just...
Jimmy, well, Howard thinks that Chuck kills himself because of him. Because they had a little disagreement literally right before. And Jimmy puts all the blame on Howard.
He just lets him fly with it.
And it's such an awful thing to do. But Jimmy doesn't like Chuck. And he doesn't want to feel guilty about it when it's really his fault that he puts it all on poor Howard. So
That's a big bang.
we're in a basement. So
Go on.
anyway, I hope everything's okay up there. Anyway, so yeah, I mean that kind of happens for the rest of season 4. Well, Jimmy is trying to. Well, he's obviously been punished for what he's done, swapping the numbers. That still happened too. So he has to go through a lot of what's it called? Like, what's the word I'm thinking of? I can't think of it.
He's suspended for a year?
Yeah. But what's
Yeah.
that? What does he have to do? I can't think of the word.
Volunteer work?
Yeah. Volunteer.
You couldn't
work.
think of volunteer work?
I couldn't think of
Okay,
that.
Yeah. He has to volunteer work, yes.
He has to do volunteer work, but he's still trying to pull some scams on the side or whatever. Kim gets into a car crash.
Yeah.
At the end of season 3, and she gets a broken arm, and she's getting herself deeper into the Mesa Verde of it all, and just becoming super busy and everything. Basically, it ultimately ends with a big time jump, and while this is also going on with season 4,
Great montage.
Mike, exactly. There's a good time jump. Mike and Gus are working together, and they start building the meth lab
Yes.
that we see in Breaking Bad. You may have never even thought about it in terms of like how that even came to be,
yeah.
but yeah, it's underneath. They had to cut it all out. They got a scientist, Werner Ziegler, to do
Mhm.
it, and that ultimately leads to
Uh,
where Mike has to kill him
Yeah.
based
But
on.
apparently Warner Ziegler's father helped build the
You remember
Sydney
that
Opera
plot? You remember
House.
that plot point?
Well, yeah, but that was so interesting. In that
No, it
fucking,
is interesting, but it's such a small plot point.
I know,
though.
but it's interesting that like his father was like
well,
fucking
yeah, he's an engineer.
literally, yeah.
He's an engineer.
So he's a well known like
And Mike and Werner get really close.
Yes, they do.
until eventually Lalo Salamanca shows up, and he is mentioned in Breaking Bad, and now
Yes.
suddenly he's here to replace Hector.
he's filled a void.
Consequences of Nacho, and Lalo jumps in immediately, trying to figure it out with the charm of Tony Dalton's acting and everything like
the
that.
great foreshadowing of Lalo as soon as he hands him the plate of food to Nacho, says you're going to die.
Well, he means it in the context,
of
the
you're going to
food's
die.
The food's to
So,
die for.
yes. And it was so good that we didn't even realize it. We didn't give it a second thought.
Foreshadowing for what
was
happens.
insane.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
It's not that insane. It's pretty
but
straightforward.
That whole introduction of Tony Dalton, Lalo Salamanca, you actually have my reaction for that.
I filmed your
So-
reaction to it.
So that was me just as soon as it was known that it was Tony Dalton's Lalo.
My man.
That it was Tony Dalton's Lalo Salamanca. That was a great shock to me, and you knew that. You watched the series a bit ahead of me. We caught up to season. I caught up to season.
It's great
5.
too because it's
so-
it's not only that he's a Salamanca, but that's the guy Saul was referencing
Yes,
in
exactly.
Breaking Bad.
No one expected
And-
him to be a Salamanca. All he said was, "Did Lalo send you?"
Yeah,
He didn't say Lalo
and it's
Salamanca sent you.
yeah, but it's great and everything.
So that's the great like twist of it all. So
We're gonna take a break.
yeah.
Do you have a conversion?
All right,
ATM with
guys.
you?
So we are back. I've been Avery, and this
It's
is
Jimmy.
Jimmy, and
We're talking about Better Call Saul. Season 4 we're on? I think we're on season 4,
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah.
find you okay.
Let's do it. Season 4.
All right, so yeah, we're finishing off season 4. So basically, like as I was saying, so Lalo shows up, right? And
Lalo as in Lollapalooza.
and so, he shows up, right? And then basically with that whole thing and him showing up with the Werner Ziegler storyline,
Yeah.
kind of screws it all up for Werner. So, and it's sad. It's a very sad scene because Mike has to essentially kill Werner Ziegler, and it's the first person he kills under Gus.
So Werner Ziegler is from Germany, right?
Yes, he is.
He's 100% from Germany.
Because
That kind of got lost in translation because the show kind of doesn't really describe that at all at some point. I wish it did. Right? That would make a lot of sense, but you kind of get it from the name that it should be Werner or Werner. Werner because he's
Avernon
German.
Ziegler. No,
Vernon Ziegler.
no, that's a little joke there.
It's not really a joke.
No, it's not.
So
All right.
What happens?
So
Does
basically,
he go
what
back to-
happens is Mike kills Werner Ziegler, and it's very sad. It's a very sad death. Mike really didn't want to kill him, but Werner kind of screwed up.
Why did he kill him though?
Oh, because he wanted to go see his wife, and Mike had to kill him because you can't
Bitches
have
always
that.
lose your life over bitches.
My man.
Next.
That's a little joke. I don't mean that.
So that's at the end. My memory's kind of foggy. That's the end of season 4, right?
Yes, but there's the other part of the story where, see, Jimmy has to read the letter that Chuck wrote him before he died, which you heard earlier in season 4, because he's gonna try to convince that he can be a lawyer again. But then a great subversion happens where he decides not
Subversion
to read it.
means to be like, it's like you're kind of putting it off and looking at a different thing, like focusing on a
Yeah,
different
and he literally does put the note away. Said I was gonna read Tug on Your Heartstrings a bit, but he doesn't read Chuck's letter. Instead, he just be brutally honest about Chuck and how he always had to be right. He didn't like him as a lawyer, but he's gonna try to be worthy of the name McGill. However, another great subversion happens right after that, when he immediately changes his name, and all that was bullshit. He doesn't mean any of that. He doesn't truly mean any of that. It becomes Saul Goodman with the finger guns to Kim Wexler. And that's how season 4 ends. And it's crazy. It's so crazy. Because he officially became the Saul Goodman that we all know. Now,
So that's when he marries this bitch?
no, that happens in season 5. That
Oh.
happens
Okay.
about halfway into season 5.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we're almost there.
Again, my memory's kind of foggy.
That's okay.
Thank you.
So anyway, so season 5, right? We kick off. It's back with more Gene stuff. There's been Gene openings every season.
Gene,
cold open.
Gene
Takovic,
ripped jeans?
Jimmy McGill has to switch his name based off of the things that happened in Breaking Bad, and it's in the future. When he's at Cinnamon, we talked about this.
I don't remember that at all. Continue. I get my ripped jeans from Target.
Yeah.
Yeah, Target has like the best ripped jeans you're ever gonna think. Like I'm wearing them right now. All right, let's continue.
All right. All right.
Cut.
So, anyway, as we continue on, we go into season 5, and Jeff, the cab driver from season
The guy
4,
who's training to be a sword swallower.
No, that didn't happen. I don't think that happened. But maybe you're watching 2 different shows.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Jeff did try to swallow a sword that one time. But anyway, so he was trying to figure out. He figured out that Gene was actually Saul in the when he drove to Albuquerque. He was from Albuquerque originally, and now he's in Omaha. So now he's like, I want you to say it. I want you to say it. And he says it. Better call Saul. But then he gets nervous and calls the vacuum cleaner guy again to see if he could fix it. But then he hangs up the phone and says, I'll handle it myself.
Because the guy sucks, because he's a vacuum cleaner.
No, about Jeff.
Oh.
But I do like that joke he just made about vacuum cleaners and sucking.
Thank you. You could have
You
just
get it,
ignored
right?
it, and that would have been funnier. Go ahead. Continue, because
All
my
right.
memory's kind of
Yeah.
foggy.
Okay, so he's fully Saul Goodman. He's trying to get an office. This is the whole thing he's trying to get throughout the series. As
Like
we
his
know,
own law firm office?
Yeah, that we see he has in Breaking Bad. So, it's coming. It's coming around. But Lalo killed somebody at the end of season 4, and now he's in jail, and he's going to have to represent him. Basically, this ultimately comes down to the rest of season 5, which is so great, building up to the very end of it, which basically has Jimmy yelling at Howard because Howard has been wanting to get him to have a job because Howard's recovered since, Chuck's death and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Jimmy can't handle it. He screams at him, and one of my favorite
Shaved
speeches.
his nipples, yeah.
Yeah, that did happen. Wow. I was not ready for that.
Yeah, most people miss that.
I think that was season
It's
5,
like
episode
2 frames
67.
of just Bob Odenkirk with his shirt up and just rubbing his
He
nipples.
did. There was a sex scene briefly in season 5 with Kim.
Respect. I remember that. That's the part I do remember.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But anyway, but basically he has to get a $7 million bail in the desert. And he's got to go pick it up with ease, to get Lalo out of prison as a bail. But an ambush comes, and some people from the cartel all shoot and kill people. And basically what happens is Mike comes in and saves the day, and they have to carry and walk through the desert. It's a great episode called Bagman. Ultimately ends with the next
New horror
episode.
movie by Jordan Peele, Bagman.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's a good, But, as we continue on, we hit Bad Choice Road, and Lalo says something suspicious about Jimmy's story going through the desert. So Jimmy essentially so Lalo walks into their apartment threatening to get any more info.
Mm-hmm.
But Kim scares him away.
Right.
And Lalo starts the question of can I start trusting people? This leads into the whole Nacho situation, because Nacho has been set up by Gus to an attempt to kill Lalo
Didn't have no
with
cheese
the
on him.
assassination attempt.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
He never ate a nacho or taco or anything.
No cheese. Why did they call him Nacho?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
fuck?
That never came back, actually, in the
That's dumb
story.
as shit.
That never came back. But,
Not just like a name you'd give your chihuahua. In a way, he kind of acts like a chihuahua, though.
he is, though. Yeah, he doesn't know what master to look after,
Mm-hmm.
Stuck in the cartel, just like chihuahuas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically Nacho has to open up the gate, and he does, and he runs, and the assassination happens on Lalo. However, Lalo survives the assassination attempt, and that's the end of season 5.
It's weird because in India, where I'm from, they don't air that episode.
No?
They don't air that episode at all.
Really?
No, not
What?
the one
Do you
where.
know, do you know why?
No, I got no idea. Yeah.
Wow.
Like at the Taj Mahal, they put like this huge projection screen up, but They don't.
The Taj Mahal.
Not that scene. They cut that out.
That scene.
Yeah.
That's a very important scene. Why would they skip that?
Right at the Taj.
At the Taj? Is that what
Yeah.
you call it?
Mhm.
I knew a guy named Taj.
Yeah,
once.
down in Vegas. Yeah. That's where India is. Yeah.
That's not funny at all. Anyway, we're back at season 6, the final
So
season.
now we're at season 6.
So
right?
Kim,
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm cameraman Diego. Do you like the episodes we've been putting out so far? I hope you are, because it's so hard to make these. You think it's easy, it's not. Hey, we have a Patreon down below. If you could you help us out? Maybe give us $1 or $2? It would really help us out with all the equipment, all the food we get, and maybe we can get some better people for the set. Thank you. I hope you have a good day.
Big thank you to Lou Malnati's for sponsoring us.
I don't think we can put that in.
Big thank you for Lou Malnati's for being around.
We can put that in. We'll fix it in post. In post.
All right, so we're back from that little break.
Oh, I'm Avery.
I'm Avery as well.
Yeah, goddamn right.
I don't know how that works. I think we went through a
You don't
time
need to
rift.
figure it out. You don't need to dissect it. You're gonna have more. You're gonna have more questions than answers. Wait, what?
I love that. I love that.
That's pretty good. Not gonna lie. So
Anyway, back to, starting back with season 6.
that's right. Season 6 of Better Call Saul.
Which was the final season.
Remember
and-
how it opens up? I kind of forgot.
Really?
Kind of.
So every season is opened up with a Gene Takvik
that's
flash forward. However,
right.
this season does not, and it actually opens up with after Breaking Bad, where they take everything from Saul's house.
That's right. Okay.
the government and everything. And I just noticed some foreshadowing actually that we'll talk about later.
Oh, okay. We're
But,
gonna foreshadow to the
Literally, I
foreshadowing.
just found
like
this out
that.
earlier, like an hour ago, maybe. But
Okay.
when they put the Saul Goodman cardboard cutout in the trash can, it's a callback to the finale when he's caught in the trash can.
I hate that.
But we'll get to that.
I hate that.
It's a good foreshadowing. I think.
I guess so. That is.
Anyway, but anyway, we continue on. Jimmy and Kim are gonna go after Howard
Because it's
with
fun.
These ham scams.
Because it's fun. There's
Yeah.
no legitimate good reason. They just do it. Even at some point during the season, you see Saul kind of question the whole thing. He doesn't think that Howard really deserves it at a certain point, but he still decides to go along
They're
with
doing
Kim on their
it
scam.
simply just for fun.
Just for fun. Fun and games.
Well,
See what I did
we'll
there?
get to
Yeah,
that,
we'll
right?
get to that.
But so that happens on the cartel side of things. Nacho's
Nacho,
on
he's
the
on the run.
and he is completely screwed.
Yeah, he's subway surfing right now. Holy shit.
He was
is
on the run.
Completely fucked.
And
That's great. That's
love
great.
these are great images. Anyway, but as we continue, so Nacho's on the run and he doesn't know what to do. The cartel's on his ass. Everybody's on his ass. He
He's in
doesn't know what to
Mexico.
do.
He's in foreign territory.
He's in foreign territory.
Lalo's pretty much after him because, Nacho just tried to assassinate him
And
somehow.
Lalo is well aware that it was Nacho too. But on the other hand, everyone assumes that Lalo is dead.
That's right, because they got the, yeah.
But through a subtle handshake between Gus and Hector, Gus figures it out that Lalo is definitely still alive, which heats up some of the argument there. As we continue on, they start, building the Hammond scams by bringing back the Kettlemans. If you remember that from
that's
season
right.
1.
Betsy, Mommy, Milker, fucking Kettleman. Oh, my God. And Craig, the beta Kettleman.
Oh, Craig, you can't do that.
Craig's such a beta, dude.
Yeah, he is. But,
I could take Craig's spot and get with Betsy.
yeah.
Or Betty, whatever. Betsy, right?
Yeah, it's
Betsy
Betsy.
Kettleman? Yeah, no. Hit me
But
up.
it's all to just put in Cliff Main's head that Howard Hamlin is a drug addict.
Yep.
He's a cocaine addict. But the thing that's so bad about this, too, is that it wasn't even cocaine, it was baby powder. That was the whole thing. If anybody just looked at that, ugh. We'll
I
get to why
did-
I'm so angry later. But
I did like Saul Goodman's cosplay of Howard Hamlin.
that comes a little later, yes.
It
but
is
yeah,
coming a little later, but I do like that.
Nacho's still on the run from the Salamanca twins that are
Yeah.
trying to find him.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it comes down where Nacho has no way out. And he has to take the fall. He says one sad goodbye to his dad. And he has to spin it the way he wants to spin it to not blame Gus for everything that's happened. And
true.
the whole cartel is there to watch it all happen. He does an amazing speech and a perfect send-off. a perfect send off to
No, in all seriousness,
Um,
Nacho has the perfect send.
Michael Mando's a fantastic actor,
Yep.
and he went out the way with him on top.
Yep. He had all the cards.
He had all the
in
cards.
that position right after he stabs Juan Bolsa and everybody's aiming the guns at him. He's in control.
And it's such a great scene too because everybody in that scene, even Mike, who's like miles away,
Yeah, I'm still. Looking
everybody's dead. In terms of Breaking Bad timeline, everyone dies except for him.
So we tried to figure out how does he die in this moment. How does he go out? And he just decides.
He pulls a gun and just pulls the
Unalives
trigger on
himself.
himself, killing himself.
Yep.
It's so great.
He has my
Um,
reaction to that scene.
No, I'm not. That's not great. Obviously, it sounds bad when I say that.
It's really awful,
It's-
Zach. What the?
No, it's great that the writing was so great as it was, and everything was great there. But
I realize too. Don't worry.
yeah,
Power of
it's
editing is good.
yeah.
You can deep fake both of us if you really want to, Howard and Jimmy. So it'll be fine.
Let's take a brief pause real quick between you guys, and let's talk about the time you met the cast, okay? Can we talk about this?
So
Yeah, Avery,
So,
yeah. Could you explain
what did you
that
feel
image?
like when you met Mike Ehrmantraut?
so when I first met Mike,
Not even Jonathan Banks. You met
No,
Mike
It
Ehrmantraut.
was Jonathan Banks. No, when I first met Mike Ehrmantraut, I had to say, so here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna talk for a little bit. My guy has a camera. We're gonna do the bang pose. All right. You use guns in the show. Guns are cool. They're hip. They're pretty modern. So let's do that. And then out of nowhere, Bob Odenkirk, Jimmy, Saul, Gene, whatever the hell you want to call him, was wearing the exact same outfit, exact same body build, exact same skin
Damn, you
complexion.
even
It
met
was weird.
Gus Fring
It
too?
was like he transformed into a Bob
And you had the
Odenkirk.
exact same pose,
He
too.
really did. Then he's like,
Yeah.
let's just do the pose. And then out of nowhere, Giancarlo Esposito shows up in some Supreme wear. And I'm like, God damn, let's get the same picture.
Dude,
No, he didn't
and
wanna do
dude,
the
I don't
pose.
know what's going on with his
He didn't
hand.
want to do the
Giancarlo
pose.
with the drip out here,
Yeah,
dude.
no,
He was
didn't wanna-
representing.
He didn't want to do the pose. He was too dripped out, which I can understand. So I
And
just
where
decided
was
to keep
this?
going.
Where did you take these photos?
This was in Shy City. This was in Shy City. For some reason, they decided to come all the way to Chicago. Don't know
And
why.
I'm so
But-
jealous too. I didn't get a chance to go there.
Also, there was a dude, voice actor, as you can see in the background for some reason, but he was on break at the time, so he wasn't there. That's how I was able to meet the cast because they all convened to talk to him. But honestly, pretty fucking epic if you ask me. Dream come true, bro.
100%.
Dream
100%.
come true. I don't even know where we were at.
Anyway, back to
Talking about
season
Nacho?
6. Well, yeah, Nacho sadly dies. As we continue on with, he does pull a Howard and throws a hooker out of his car. From Cliff Main were to witness
Cliff
that,
Main.
and Kim Wexler. Kim also finds out that some people are following them. We find out it was actually
That's
Mike and his
right,
team
yeah.
watching them to make sure in case Lalo were to come back, just in case they would be watching them. But Lalo, Kim's like, well, Lalo's dead. But, Lalo's not dead. He's still there. And he's on a mission to find proof.
We
Which
don't
is
know what the
interesting
proof
as we
is.
don't know what the proof is at
The
this
hell's the
point in
proof?
time. As we continue on, we eventually find him as he meets with Werner Ziegler's wife,
Yeah, honestly.
Margareta.
If you take their entire scene, their dynamic between Lalo and Ziegler's wife, and you put that out of context to somebody who's never seen Better Call Saul or anything in the Breaking Bad universe, you can convince them that's a love story. It's just a random scene from a romantic story.
Remember,
'Cause goddamn does
he-
Lalo have game.
He was Ben.
Oh yeah, he was Ben. Ben. Forgot he transformed into Ben.
But,
Similar to how
hey,
Jimmy
that happened
transformed into Saul.
all to find
Bravo,
out
Vince.
exactly where they were hiding the location of the secret meth lab, which was underneath the laundromat, as we all know. So, and long story short, he finds that out. He slices one of the German engineers by going to Germany in that regard and everything. Howard, on the other hand, does find out it's Jimmy and Kim behind all the schemes.
That's right.
So he hires a private investigator to follow Jimmy's every move to make sure that he could get behind it all.
Fuck Kai. Fuck Kai. I hate
This-
to interrupt you. This is at the very beginning. Fuck. Was it Kai? Remember was it Kai who was like, "Oh yeah, you had to do what you had to do." When the German people end up going back to their
Yeah, that was Kai.
That was
That
Kai.
was at
Fuck
the
Kai.
end of season 5, though.
Was
I
this
mean, the
season-
beginning of season 5.
Oh, that was Oh, that's right. I
Because Werner
forgot.
Ziegler passed away at the end of season 4.
What the On God? Hey, you're gonna have to message me later. But anyways, so he's right. Howard does figure out that Jimmy and Kim are up to their little thing, so they hire he hires a private investigator.
This ultimately climbs down to the mid-season finale of season 6.
But before that, one of my favorite scenes is the Wii boxing match.
Yes, they have a little bit of a
They have a
boxing
little
match.
boxing
Howard
match.
versus Jimmy in the ring.
One of the greatest cinematic masterpieces and fights of our time. It
Yeah,
should be top 5 anime
100%.
fights of all time.
Yeah. This
Howard beats the
ultimately...
shit out of fucking yeah.
He does, though. He actually
Beats
does.
the shit out of him. I love it.
This ultimately climbs down. That's literally what it is. That's what it is. I love that.
Literally, Howard was mad. Gene, oh my god. Saul, so many personalities. Saul can do shit. You can do
That's
shit
right.
against him.
Even though he was in the movie Nobody. By the way, check that out. It's a great movie.
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Okay. So Among Us.
So Among Us.
Anyway, but back to the mid-season finale. This is kind of the moment where everybody watching this show will never forget this moment. It's one of those moments that you're like, holy shit, this happens. It's the mid-season finale. It's a goated episode, but oh man, it can be hard to watch, especially towards the last 10 minutes.
When I watched the episode, I walked out.
He walked out of my house. He couldn't believe what he saw.
I walked out.
But
I still can't
basically,
believe it.
after Howard has figured it out, and hired a private investigator, it basically comes down to D-Day. And D-Day is the finally climactic end of the Howard scamming that Jimmy and Kim had been planning for presumably a couple months, I think.
No, they've been planning on it for a
Just,
while.
again, all just for fun. On this poor innocent guy. That has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, literally, D-Day. The beaches of Normandy. So, but
Yeah, no,
it all
that-
comes down to they have taken pictures of an actor that happens to look like the moderator for a meeting for the Sandpiper Crossing case that Howard's going to be at. An actor that looks like it. The real actor walks into the meeting, and Howard immediately thinks that it's part of the Jimmy scam, as he knows the private investigator took pictures. Well, no. Oh, this is a lot to explain, actually.
It's a lot.
Jimmy
it is
and
a lot
Kim
to
took
explain.
pictures of an actor that looks like the private investigator dude. No, oh my God. Jimmy and Kim
That's all
took
right.
pictures
You can spitball.
of
You don't
a
have to do
judge
every
that it was the
detail.
moderator, an actor that looks like him, at a park. And then he runs the pictures over to the private investigator that was Howard's private investigator that was secretly working for Jimmy the whole time. Okay, boom, bada bing, bada boom. And then the real actual judge, Casimiro, the actual real judge, is the moderator for the Sandpiper Crossing meter. But Howard sees the pictures and thinks it's the actual actor that looks like him. And says, look, I got this. And you were working with Jimmy McGill, even though the real one is like, what are you talking about? I don't know who Jimmy is. I don't know who Saul is. Howard looks a complete fool. And they even put something on the pictures to make his eyes dilate, to make it actually look like he's actually a cocaine addict. And the whole thing blows up in his face. They go back on their previous offer, and it's horrible. It's horrible. Howard looks horrible. But then calls the private investigator. Yes, that's the picture of the real person, not the actor. In this crazy, fantastic episode, but it's so hard to watch sometimes. Howard looks like a complete fool, and Howard realizes Jimmy and Kim got away with it, and he got played 100%.
And you want to know what happens? You want to know what happens after he realizes he got played 100%? You want to know what's happening in the background? Saul and Kim are going at it in the bed. They are getting off
to
at
Howard's
making this
downfall.
Man suffer. And
Yes,
it's
they
sickening.
literally have sex.
When I first
during
watched
this.
that scene, I was sickened. I wanted them to lose. I wanted them to get.
Now,
what's
at the
coming to
same
them.
time, Lalo has figured out where the location is and is trying to get into the secret meth lab so he could send a video to Don Eladio, the head cartel boss, that doesn't know that Gus has been doing this.
His vlogs were great.
He did vlogs, that's right. Ultimately, to find out, he pulls a fast one and scares everybody out of the meth lab as he's going to attack Gus at his house, is what he makes everyone think. By calling Hector, and Hector helps out with that in that regard. He gets everyone to leave.
Lalo time.
But basically, he realizes he can't even go close to that, as Tyrus is still there. So, he doesn't know what to do until something pops in his head as he sees a cockroach run by him in the sewer. He thinks of Saul Goodman. As he's a cockroach, he could survive the apocalypse and everything. But here's the thing, he got everybody to leave. So all the people that were supposed to be watching Jimmy and Kim in case Lalo ever were to show up they all left. So Lalo is making his way to Jimmy and Kim's apartment. But at this exact
Unbeknownst
same
to
time,
Jimmy and Kim.
Howard is already walking over here. And Howard is saying, you guys won. You got me. You are awful people. Why would you ever do this? I understand. You did it for fun. You did it for fun. You ruined my career and my entire reputation for fun. So I just want to know why. And if you're not going to tell me why, I'm going to dedicate my life to make sure that everybody knows the truth of how awful you two are. At this moment,
Flicker. The candle moves.
The candle moves as the door swings open. And it's Lalo.
Yep.
And Lalo, Kim knew Lalo was alive, but Kim did not reveal that to Jimmy. Jimmy's shocked beyond belief as Jimmy thought Lalo was dead. Lalo walks in, and Lalo says, I'm just here to talk to my lawyers. Take your time, continue finishing talking. But Howard is completely shocked and doesn't know what's going to happen. And Howard actually feels bad for Jimmy and Kim as Lalo slowly pulls out a gun out of his jacket.
Because he thinks that Lalo may kill them.
Yep.
Because he doesn't know the context of the situation. But after that, he tries to say, there's really no need to do anything rash. But before the
he
do
could
anything
finish,
rash parts
even
out,
finish his sentence.
gets shot point
Lalo
blank in the head with a silencer. Shocking and horrifying Saul and Kim. And
that's the mid-season finale. We had a 6-week gap.
There was a 6-week gap
in between those two episodes.
I only had to wait
7
a day.
and 8.
I managed to catch up to Better Call Saul right until that point, right until season 6, episode 8 would premiere the following day. So to y'all that had to wait, that sucks to be you. I only had to wait a day.
Okay, you don't have to rub it in their faces.
I'm gonna rub it in their face because I could not imagine waiting.
Anyway, as we go around to the second half, I'll make this relatively quick because I just had to go in depth about that because that episode was one of the most shocking things ever. But basically, Lalo's there to basically get Jimmy and Kim out of the situation, trick them so that he could go to the meth lab and kill Gus. Yep. But Gus has already planted a gun there and suspected that would happen. So long story short, Gus has an awesome speech against Lalo in the meth lab as Lalo is made there, and Gus shoots Lalo in the dark, killing Lalo. What's so sad and shocking about this, though, is that Howard and Lalo, person who murdered Howard, are both buried underneath the meth lab.
Best buddies. They share the same Minecraft bed.
They're both buried underneath that. No one knows what it is, and Howard's death is, said to be a suicide as he walked into an ocean. As we continue on, Jimmy's kind of letting it go and trying to forget about it. Well, Kim cannot forget about it, and Kim decides to leave Jimmy. And that's also a very heartbreaking scene. We then cut to the Gene Takovic of it all. As we come back to full circle back to where we were with the cold opens. We finally found out what he's going to do, his own, to deal with Jeff, the cab driver.
And I'm going to be honest, if you told me at the end of the first cold opening for season 5, where he talks to Ed the Disappearer and says, you know what? No, I'm going to fix it. You could not convince me this was the plan he had in mind. There's no way.
He looks up where Jeff's mom is and gets a fake dog named Nippy and all that. And long story short... Yeah, Nippy! Anyway, so he leaves, and basically he wants Jeff to be put in the game. So he makes Jeff and his buddy commit a crime. So when everything gets away with it, if they get caught, Jimmy goes down with them. If Jimmy gets caught, they get caught. And everything's gone, and he's covered his tracks.
But why?
But this awakens a new thing in Gene. And Gene can't stop doing crimes. So Gene continues them. This time with committing people at a bar. I like that. Committing people with breaking into their house and stealing their personal information at a bar by finding out, drugging them and figuring that out. He does that. Ultimately comes down to a cancer person where Buddy wants out and he doesn't want to deal with it because it's a guy with cancer. Gene still wants to do it and he breaks in to the house of the guy with cancer. Cut back to Kim in the Gene timeline. And Kim is essentially, living a life in Florida, living her own life. But she gets a call from Gene and Gene says, you can't get away with this. Oh, my God.
What?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
my God.
No way. Why does that work? Why is the angle good too?
Oh, man.
my lord.
Oh my goodness, I like that. The angle.
Dude, we could end it right here, but we still got a little bit more to talk about. Holy
Why is
shit.
Poe's hand so big?
Hey, he got that drip too.
Honestly, I did not expect this. When this happened, I was like, "Is that Poe?"
Man, is this an alternate scene? Is this a director's cut? I
It's
had
the
no
director's
idea.
cut. It's the Snyder cut for Vince Gilligan. It's a reference somebody understands.
That's crazy.
Somebody does. Anyway, we'll just finish this up, and then we can move on to the next bullet points we have. I don't know why I said that like that. Anyway, okay, so Kim tells him to turn himself in, and Gene loses it, and, he commits his crime on the cancer person. Jeff distracts the cops that happen to be there, and Jeff crashes the car, and Jeff goes to
cops
jail.
are vibing. They were talking about fish tacos. And
They
how
were,
it was like
though.
one little fish. And called it a fish taco.
But then Gene goes back to Marion, and Marion finds out, Jeff's mom, that he's in fact Saul Goodman. She calls the police, and so Gene's on the run, and this leads to the finale episode that aired last night. As the time we're recording this right now, what an episode!
What an episode, dude. I'm still trying to process it.
I know. Long story short, and I'll say this because we can move on to the next moments, but Jimmy, Gene, whatever, basically commits to everything that he's done, and he goes to jail, and that's basically how Better Call Saul ends, and it was crazy.
86 years. It's the perfect trifecta because, spoiler alert, mainly for Saul, of course, but we just talked about it. But Breaking Bad is already over a decade old, so if you haven't watched it, that's on you at that point. But we had the perfect trifecta. Breaking Bad, Walt dies for everything that he did, kind of deserved, again, after everything he did throughout the series. Jesse, in El Camino, gets away and is able to start a new life as Mr. Driscoll, right? I think it's Mr. Driscoll.
Yep.
And now Jimmy McGill is in jail. So Walt dies, Jesse gets away,
Jimmy goes to
Jimmy's
jail.
in jail. Perfect trifecta for a goated, consistent series.
And universe, I'd
Yep,
say.
consistent universe. 11 seasons
Of peak
of peak
TV.
television and a movie.
And a movie.
That is actually insane. Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, I know you're never going to watch this. If you do, though, fantastic work.
Fantastic
I
work,
am
honestly.
really interested to see.
I will
what you
watch
guys do in the
anything you
future.
guys will do after
Yep,
this, no matter what it
absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
100%. Let's move on to the next thing, which is just overall favorite moments from the entire series. Give me a favorite moment right there.
One that pops to mind, for some reason, is when Jimmy not confesses. He confronts Chuck over taping him.
Yes.
That is
You
one of my
recording
favorite
me?
moments. Yeah,
Yeah.
you recording me? Oh, I don't know what to think, asshole.
I love
I
that.
really like that moment because it sets up something big regarding Chuck.
Which leads into one of my favorite moments, the chicanery speech. And for that entire episode. Now,
Goated.
because Avery, and also me, Avery, love that episode and love that quote. Look at this. We're going to be synchronized
We
on
can
the spot,
synchronize the entire
chicanery speech. All right, we just took a little break there,
We
but
love Chuck McGill. Actually, fuck Chuck
One of our-
McGill, but
yeah.
we do love
his chicanery,
His chicanery
speech,
speech.
from season 3, episode 5,
That is
chicanery.
right.
Oh, I love it. Michael
been mean
McCain
to death.
deserves every award.
the fact
I don't
that
know if he got one for
he
that,
didn't.
but he probably
He didn't.
should. He didn't?
He didn't get an award for that. No, what a sick joke.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
But
little foreshadowing. Bravo, Vince.
because we love that so much, we and Avery here will, of course, cite it word for word as much as we can.
No, my
We'll
friend.
try to be synchronized. In fact, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're going to try to do some of the head mannerisms that he
Oh
does.
yeah, no, I remember it.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I am not crazy. I am not crazy.
I
No,
know he swapped those numbers. I knew it was 12, 16.
12, 16. One after Magna
Cartas.
Carta.
If I could ever make such a mistake.
Never. Never. I just couldn't prove it.
He
Yeah, he
covered
got
his
the
tracks. He got
the
that
rough-
idiot at the copy shop
showed
to
a
lie
lie
for
for
him,
him.
Mr. McKill.
No,
You think this is
bad.
something? You think this is
bad?
bad?
This chicanery? He's done worse.
Of that
That
billboard.
billboard.
Are you telling me
a
a
man just happens to fall like that? No, he orchestrated it. Jimmy
He
defecated through a sunroof.
and I
Saved him.
I
took
shouldn't
the
have.
cab.
Took him into my
Own
own
firm.
What was I
My
thinking? He'll never change.
He'll
He'll
never
change. Ever since he was 9.
Couldn't
Always
keep
the same.
tame.
Couldn't
Keep
keep
his hands out of the cash
drawer.
drawer. But not our Jimmy. Couldn't be precious Jimmy. Stealing the blind. And he gets to be a lawyer? What a sick joke.
I should have
Stopped him when I had the chance.
And you have to stop.
You nailed it. Way better than I did.
I apologize.
Exactly. That's actually the... But
What?
we love that.
That is amazing.
Oh, wow.
That is amazing.
Okay, I screwed it up a little bit.
No, it's okay.
I was on the spot.
That is one of my favorite moments in the series too.
That was a
whole
real
speech.
plot twist. I was not expecting when Walter
There was
White,
a lot of
when
plot
Walter
twists.
Black shot.
Dude, when
Not so.
Heisenberger met Goku in Quahog, holy shit! Dude, I did not expect that not one bit. Especially when Tyrus ate the.
So obviously those moments. Do you have any other favorite moments? I have
there's
to
a
say
lot.
Howard's death, not because I hate Howard, but because of just how well written that whole scene was and
Yeah.
how suspenseful and scary that scene
You
was.
can make a
And
compelling argument that Howard Hamlin is the most tragic character.
I would say
in Better
that.
Call Saul. don't know
I would
about
say in the whole universe.
Really?
In terms of like
see
everybody that for every death that happened in Breaking Bad / Better Call Saul, El Camino. Yes, there are many characters that actually didn't deserve it. Howard being one of them, but I have to say no one was such as a main character that didn't deserve it as much as Howard. I guess some people would say Hank, but Hank was kind of
Hank-
digging himself into this
Yeah.
as like he was getting closer to Walter White Heisenberg.
It's-
He didn't know it was his brother-in-law, but still,
As Jesse said, if you
and-
think you know what happens,
yeah.
the complete opposite happens.
Howard, it's also the fact that everyone will remember him. I guess not as of the finale, but as of right now, everyone will remember him as a
As a drug
cocaine
addict.
addict. Yeah, that just went insane.
Yeah.
Which is a good parallel to Chuck, who actually kind of was insane, but got a hero's funeral when he committed suicide.
Yep.
So,
There's a nice parallel. And then Howard
yeah.
got the complete opposite. Everybody thought he was a drug addict that just ended up killing himself. After everything he established, after having... He had the H. Yeah. Hamlin McGill.
He was the second H and
He was the second H, that's right. We never saw his father.
No,
we never
but
saw his father.
his I think the first H did pass away too, though.
Oh, unfortunate.
Fictional characters, but
But yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways,
so-
thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Be sure to follow our social media, subscribe, turn on the bell icon. It really helps. And until
What was
next
your
time.
favorite moment? Let us know in the comments if you watched it.
Exactly. All right.
Goodbye.